Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Palestinians commemorated today Nakba Day, translated from Arabic as a day of catastrophe, in which they refer to Israel's declaration of independence that was proclaimed 70 years and a day earlier on the 14th of May 1948. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence relays a promise to Washington's allies across the Middle East and the world that the United States will never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. The leader of Iran's Lebanese proxy Hezbollah declared that the missile salvo that was shot into Israel last week marked a new phase in the Syria conflict. Palestinians commemorated today Nakba Day, translated from Arabic as the day of catastrophe, in which they refer to Israel's declaration of independence that was proclaimed 70 years and a day earlier on the 14th of May 1948. As part of their protest, a general strike was announced by the Palestinian leadership in the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and across the Arab communities of Israel. On the backdrop of the United States inauguration of its embassy in Jerusalem, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas condemned the American move as an effort to dictate a new reality on the ground, while terming the new U.S. embassy as an outpost settlement that was established on lands the Palestinians demand for their future state.
وبهذه المناسبة ونحن نسمع أنهم اليوم افتتحوا سفارة وهي بؤرة استيطانية وليست سفارة، بؤرة استيطانية أمريكية. يعني بالأول كان عندنا البؤر الاستيطانية بمساعدة أمريكا، هلا عندنا بؤرة أمريكية بؤرة استيطانية أمريكية في القدس الشرقية.
The Palestinian leader further dubbed the United States as part of the problem rather than part of a solution to the decades-old conflict, rejecting an assertion by President Donald Trump, who declared during the inauguration of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem the ongoing commitment of the United States to facilitate a lasting peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians.
As I said in December, our greatest hope is for peace. The United States remains fully committed to facilitating a lasting peace agreement, and we continue to support the status quo at Jerusalem's holy sites, including at the Temple Mount, also known as Haram al-Sharif.
Meanwhile, yesterday marked the bloodiest single day along the border of the Gaza Strip since 2014, where Palestinian authorities claim that more than 55 people were killed and some 2,500 were injured, either by live gunfire, tear gas, or other means. The Islamist Hamas organization, which rules the Gaza Strip, claimed the violent protests along the enclave security fence with Israel were in response to the American decision to move its embassy to Jerusalem, vowing to continue protests and resistance against Israel and the United States by all means necessary.
جريمة نقل السفارة الأمريكية ظلما وعدوانا إلى أرضنا، إلى عاصمة فلسطين الأبدية، إلى القدس. خرج شعبنا اليوم ليرد هذا العدوان الجديد الأمريكي الصهيوني، وليقول للعالم بدمه وأشلائه أنه يرسم خريطة العودة، خريطة الانتصار. نعم أيها الإخوة يا أبناء شعبنا، في المنافي والشتات، في غزة الصمود والإباء، في الضفة الثائرة المجاهدة، في 48 وفي كل مكان، خرج شعبنا منتفضا مقاوما ليرفض كل هذه المشاريع، مشاريع التصفية ومشاريع نقل السفارة ومشاريع صفقة ترامب أو ما يطلق عليها صفقة العصر أو القرن.
A senior Israeli military official told TV7 that the directives the IDF received from the political echelon in Jerusalem demanded resolve to thwart any attempt by Palestinian residents of Gaza to breach Israel's territory. The official further noted that under the guise of the demonstrators, Islamist militants attempted to attack Israeli troops by hurling approximately 10 explosive devices toward them and opening fire on several occasions, to which the IDF responded with lethal force. That said, IDF spokesman Jonathan Conricus accused the Islamist Hamas organization of manipulating unarmed civilians, including women and children, to try and breach the border's security fence.
Hamas is using the demonstrators, the unarmed people that are participating here, and are sending them forward. We've seen women and children being sent forward in order to tear down the fence, for a second wave of terrorists to get inside and run for the nearest Israeli community. That is a risk that the IDF, cannot tolerate and will not tolerate, and we have been very clear about that in the past, that we will not allow it. Now, we've been relying heavily on less lethal weapons. We've been using tear gas, and we've been calling out in Arabic, and we have done different things in order to prevent this specific situation.
The bloodshed drew calls for restraint from the international community, including France and Britain, while stronger criticism from others, including Turkey, which called Israel a terrorist state that is carrying out a genocide against the Palestinian people.
İsrail bir terör devletidir. Ve bir terör devleti olarak da şu anda attığı adımlarla bunu ispatlamaktadır. Ne yazık ki Amerika YPG ile DAEŞ'e karşı mücadele ettiğini söyleyerek nasıl işbirliği yapıyorsa, işte burada da ne yazık ki İsrail'le acımasız bir şekilde işbirliğine girmiştir. İsrail'in yaptığı bir soykırımdır. Ve bu soykırımı ilk defa bugün yapmıyor.
In contrast to international condemnations of Israel, the United States reaffirmed its commitment to Israel's security, which a White House spokesperson emphasized had a right to defend its sovereignty. Furthermore, White House spokesperson Raj Shah stressed that the United States views Hamas as bearing full responsibility for the entire situation across the Palestinian enclave.
Well, we're aware of the reports of continued violence in Gaza today. The responsibility for these tragic deaths rests squarely with Hamas. Hamas is intentionally and cynically provoking this response, and as the Secretary of State said, Israel has the right to defend itself.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared after consultation with top security officials that the determined action of the Israeli security forces prevented penetration of Israel's borders, while underscoring a continued policy of resolve to protect the sovereignty of the Jewish state. Now to the United States, where Vice President Mike Pence relayed a promise to Washington's allies across the Middle East and the world that the United States will never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon.
As the president said just a few days ago, the Iran deal, in his words, didn't bring calm, it didn't bring peace, and it never will. In fact, Iran's unprecedented missile attacks on Israel last week only confirmed the president's decision. This dangerous act of aggression only strengthened our resolve. So today, let me assure you all, the United States of America will never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. That is our solemn promise to Israel and the world.
The comments by the American Vice President come amid efforts by the Islamic Republic to preserve the multinational nuclear deal, which the United States decided to pull out from, citing Iran's ongoing efforts to develop its ballistic missile program with the capacity to carry nuclear payloads, as well as Tehran's aggressive involvement across the Middle East, among other reasons. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif met today with his European counterparts in Brussels, during which Tehran, Berlin, Paris, and London discussed mutual efforts to maintain the nuclear deal. The main concern in Europe is Washington's decision to reimpose crippling sanctions that will limit Europe's ability to uphold its commitments to Iran while avoiding economic consequences.
We're going to have a conversation about what we can do to help UK firms, to help European firms to have some confidence that they can still do business. I'm not going to pretend to you now that that will be easy, but we are determined to do that, and as far as we possibly can, to protect our businesses from the effect of American primary and secondary sanctions.
Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. Jonathan Hassan, have an Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.